Hey, all right. You're listening to the Line Sports Talk podcast. It is the first of the new year. Today is Tuesday, January 3rd, 2017. We're ready to kick off year 2 of the line. It should be a good one, as usual. Joe Peeps is here tonight. Peeps, what's up, man?
Playoffs are here. Finally.
Yeah.
Finally. No more having to watch Rams, bad Thursday night matchups, terrible primetime games. NFL product has not been very good this year. It's one of the worst years I can remember, but let's hope this playoffs make up for it. I think there's some good ones out there.
What, man, I'm with you. The NFL has been kind of a turd as far as this season goes. But we're going to talk tonight about the upcoming playoffs. We're going to really talk about UFC 207 and what happened to Ronda Rousey, or what was done to Ronda Rousey. Talk a little bit about
like I said the other day, Ronda Rousey actually got so much hotter to me because now I think I can take her. I think that's better. Now that I don't think she can kick my ass, I think that made her a lot more attractive in my view.
She can still kick your ass. Talk a little bit about Cody No Love Garbage.
I don't agree. I don't agree. But go ahead.
And Dominic Cruz. There's a bunch of good fights the other night. The card wasn't the best, but there was some entertainment in there too. Talk a little bit about Dana White, what went on with his perception of that whole thing, and where does this leave Dana White. I want to jump into the coaching hot seat because we lost a couple more coaches this week that followed suit behind your boy Jeff Fisher. A few more on the horizon. I don't think anybody's really safe. If you remember last year, I think Lovie Smith made it in about a week after the season, and when everybody thought all was good and the dust settled and the smoke cleared, Lovie got the axe as well. So I don't think there's a couple other guys out there that are immune to losing their job. So let's get started on that coach's hot seat. Joe, you've seen that Mike McCoy was fired?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Well, I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, you lose the Cleveland Browns and you finish the season the way the San Diego Chargers did. I mean, those things happen.
That right there is that sealed Mike McCoy's fate, was losing to Cleveland. Just you can't do it. You can't lose to an 0-14 team like you did.
You can't be the one win. And the Browns go and lose to the Steelers JV team yesterday or Sunday.
And that's a sign of a poorly coached football team in San Diego. But also, in all fairness to Mike McCoy, he was coaching a JV team as well. After Phillip Rivers on the offensive side of the ball, I don't know that they had a player that was going to start anywhere else in the NFL. Really don't know that they had a player that was going to start anywhere else. And usually
maybe so, but you are the one victory on a 1-15 Cleveland Browns team that wasn't even close and competitive with anybody else down the stretch.
No, that sucks. That sucks. But yeah, he's gone. I mean, the rumor mill swirling already is somebody like Mike Smith will interview for that job. And Mike Smith did a nice job with Tampa Bay's defense this year. The problem with having a defensive coordinator do a really good job with your defense is he's usually gone the following year, especially a guy like Mike Smith with head coaching experience. The likelihood of him not being a head coach in the NFL next season with all these vacancies is slim to none. He's going to get a job. He was in Atlanta for 6 years, relatively successful. He'll get a job. I maybe, just maybe, he's going to stay in the Southeast and wander his way up to Jacksonville. Maybe he's going to try to change the scenery and end up on the West Coast. But, yeah, look for Mike Smith to end up in either Jacksonville or San Diego. It looks like your boy Todd Bowles may have survived.
Yeah, I think he might, because maybe they're just thinking after it's kind of hard after 1 year. I mean, I know Chip Kelly got fired after 1 year, but it's very clear that Chip Kelly has no business coaching an NFL team. Where Todd Bowles went 10-6 his first year, so I thought that might have been a factor. I don't know how I feel about it, because especially the way the Jets were they didn't even look competitive. They didn't look like they cared out there, and I think that falls on the head coach. But I'm not totally opposed to them bringing him back for 1 more year. They need to do something. They're going to have a new quarterback next year, so let's see.
Yeah, that helps. The change in quarterback is going to need to help. They also got rid of 5 assistants this year. It looks like Chan Gailey retired, which was probably overdue.
It was time.
Well, if he didn't retire, he was going to get fired. So it's a nice way to go out. I'd rather retire than get fired, too. Marcel.
Yeah, and it's old veteran like Chan Gailey, you're going to give him that option. Like, look, we don't want to have to publicly fire you, so we'll give you the option. You give you the option to walk out on your own shield.
Yeah, that's just a courtesy. That's a courtesy retirement. But Marcel
out of respect.
Coach, Pepper Johnson, defensive line coach, linebackers coach, Mark Collins is gone. Defensive backs coach Joe Dana is gone. They cleaned house. They are bringing back your defensive coordinator, though, Casey Rogers. Defense wasn't good either.
Defense wasn't very good, but maybe he just works good with Todd Bowles because I really think Todd Bowles is the architect, is the man behind that defense. He runs the defense.
Yeah. I wouldn't go telling anybody that.
Yeah, right. I mean, he runs the defense, but hey, there's always somebody behind a bad business. Yeah,
and he's the guy. I will tell you what, though, the Jets. You mentioned they need a quarterback. They need a quarterback. I can see them making a trade. I can see them moving. A.J. McCarron's name has been being tossed around. A.J. McCarron looked pretty damn good in Andy Dalton's absence last season down the stretch, if you recall. McCarron played really well.
Yeah, I don't know about going and giving him a good contract because we don't know. You don't want to give contract. Just ask the Houston Texans. You don't want to give a big deal to somebody who's not proven.
That's right. I mean, I don't even think Brock Osweiler counts in that discussion because he sucked in Denver. He wasn't that good. Houston just made a terrible decision. But guys like Scott Mitchell years ago, when Scott Mitchell built the Detroit Lions out of a bunch of money because he looked good for 6 weeks in Miami, at least if nothing else, Detroit thought he looked good for a period of time where Osweiler just never even looked good. McCarron looked really good for a stretch there.
But I think A.J. McCarron is somebody who won't, he won't come at a high price. He's somebody you can almost let into your team for a reasonable, probably a reasonable buck.
You're talking a trade with Cincinnati. What are you going to give up, a third-round pick? If you're the Jets, you've drafted terribly anyway. Give up a third-round pick, bring in A.J. McCarron, and let a guy walk.
I'm not really opposed to that. Bring him into camp, see what he can do.
I think so. I'd give up a fourth-round pick for him without blinking. He's better than anything you have. Christian Hackenberg is not going to be able to play in the NFL. If he was, I think somebody would have sniffed that out by now.
Well, it appears so because it's disturbing with all with how much turmoil the Jets were going through, especially at the quarterback position this year between Ryan Fitzpatrick, Bryce Petty, Geno Smith had his day before he got hurt. All that being said, they won't. They're not going to give this kid a shot to see if he's if they can get anything out of him, and they spent a second-round pick on him.
Head coaches and quarterbacks' careers are tied to each other. And if they're really, really successful, then that's a really good thing. And if they're not really successful, then it's not a really good thing. And it goes down quickly before it has a chance to live in infamy. If you're a shitty quarterback with a shitty head coach, you both go away pretty quick. It doesn't take very long to figure itself out. But McCarron to the Jets looks like a pretty interesting off-season adjustment. That would be a nice movement. It really would. Another head coach is gone.
I heard Tony Romo hasn't responded back to his voicemails and text messages from the Jets front office.
Not going to. Here's a clue. She doesn't want to go out with you.
Yeah.
It ain't
right?
Yeah. Stop calling her. She doesn't want to go out with you.
Yeah, the Jets going, Jets sending that second message. Hey, did you get this? I wonder if you got that in my last message. Yeah, I got it. I'm not interested. Yeah. Hey,
Tony, Woody again. Tony, give us a call back whenever you get a chance. I want to go over
that'd be great.
Tony, are you there? Tony, I can hear you breathing.
He's probably coming back. If you don't stop, I'm going to block your number.
Woody, I'm not going to tell you again. Stop calling me.
Yep.
It's late in Dallas, Woody. It is late in Dallas. A couple other coaches are gone as well. We mentioned Mike McCoy. Todd Bowles somehow, some way, still holding on. Gary Kubiak has resigned. That I didn't see coming, but in hindsight, to play armchair quarterback, Monday morning quarterback, you could see that he had some health issues. If you recall, a few years ago when he was in Houston, he had that mini stroke and passed out on the sidelines. This year he was suffering some migraines. He missed a game where Joe DeCamillis had to coach a Thursday night game. It's time. I think the grind and the everyday in and out of an NFL schedule can be a lot for a guy who was a ball boy when he was 13 years old, 14 years old. This guy's been around football for 40-plus years. It's a grind. Time for Coach Kubiak to go hang it up and maybe go sit on a beach with his wife someplace. Or at least take a year off or so and just see, maybe after a year, maybe you think maybe you can do it again because Urban Meyer, it almost killed Urban Meyer. It did. Guys like Dick Vermeil years ago did exactly that. He took some time away and then came back and had a Super Bowl run. So I don't think Gary Kubiak is Dick Vermeil. I really don't. I think Vermeil was a much better head coach, and I think Kubiak is a nice head coach. That's probably pretty safe to say. Gary Kubiak will go down as a champion, but I think he'll fall into that Barry Switzer,
Barry Switzer, Brian Billick as category.
Yeah, had a nice place to be. But I guess 6 teams throughout the NFL. Chip Kelly gone in San Francisco. Who in the F wants that job?
Oh, well, somebody, the money will talk and somebody will take it. But the question is who, and I don't know. I have no clue.
Shanahan? He's interviewing with them this weekend. Why the Falcons are a bye?
Well, I'm sure Kyle wants to get underneath get out from his daddy's shadow. So here's your shot.
It is, but God, I wouldn't want this job. I think when you're a young head coach, it's an absolute disaster.
I think it's a bad move too. I really think it's a bad move.
It's a bad move for the 49ers. I'm almost confident that I could call an offense with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Devonta Freeman, Tevin Coleman, excuse me.
Just as I legitimately can't kick Ronda Rousey's ass, you could not call that offense.
Well,
but I get what you're saying, though. Yes, the point well taken.
Point taken. We've both been served. Remember? Yeah.
Anyway.
Bad it's
right.
a bad move for anybody to go to San Francisco.
If I'm more so with Kyle Shanahan right now. The 49ers. It's a badly run organization. The Yorks have pretty much destroyed that team.
They have. There's only one thing left for them to do.
What is that? Hire Jeff Fisher.
That's right.
Yeah, you can hire. You know what? Though people tend to get off your back when you're 8-8 every year. Hey, we're 500.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, if you want to restructure and rebuild that franchise from the coaching tree on down, you hire Jeff Fisher.
Hire Jeff Fisher.
It'll be weeks before Greg Williams is hired as the defensive coordinator, and he brings all his old pals with him. And then he looks around and goes, now they're going to make him draft a shitty quarterback. Look, this Deshaun Watson, come on, dude, don't tell me that kid's a number 1 overall quarterback. Don't. It's too early to start talking about next year's draft, but you're the Browns, and you're looking down the barrel of a gun at the first shot here in the 2017 NFL Draft. What do you do? Do you really take Deshaun Watson? Do you really
all signs for the Browns are leading to Myles Garrett, the defensive tackle from Texas A&M. Now, can I predict anything the Cleveland Browns will do? No, of course not. Nobody can. But that seems to be the most obvious at this point right now. They're saying the most obvious first-round pick.
Right.
Is this kid, this defensive tackle from Texas A&M. You never know. I'd say you draft an offensive line. You build the foundation first. Ask the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys are a great team right now because they built the foundation. But ask your Oakland Raiders. What made them a great? Obviously, they got their quarterback, but they built the foundation first.
I agree. Now, look, there's going to be a bunch of names out there floating around for these head coaching vacancies. And one name that I have seen pop up a couple times, and I think he's really deserving of a head coaching opportunity in the NFL because I think he'll be a very good head coach. Tom Cable's going to land someplace.
Okay.
He has been the best offensive line coach in the NFL for the last 15 years. Wherever he goes, you get offensive line production, you get good running games, you get nice pass protection, and you get a dominant front 5. He's your guy to really build that up. But when he ran the Raiders for a year and a half, he did a pretty good job. I had faith in those game plans. I had faith in that team winning games. I really did. They went 8-8.
I tell you what,
if
not a head football coach, he can work the door at about any nightclub in L.A.
That's right.
So,
now,
I mean,
if you recall, Al Davis fired Tom Cable because there was word circulating that at some point in his life, Tom Cable had knocked out one of his ex-wives. And then a second ex-wife came forward and said, yeah, he hit me as well. And hats off to Al Davis, because if I'm Al Davis and I hear this, no matter what's going on, you have to walk downstairs and clean your house.
You cannot have that look for your organization, especially the leader of your organization, your head coach.
Cannot have it. It was only a couple short years ago. It wasn't like this was something that happened in 1967. He never did it again. Look, not everybody, but most people deserve a second chance. People make mistakes, make big mistakes sometimes, and they do come back from them, and they should be allowed to come back from them. But this is something that happened twice and recently. That tells me you've had opportunities to come back, and you're just a potential problem, and I can't hire you.